Most people look at this and see a stiff formal couple. But look at the center of the wall. There is a tiny glass orb watching everything. It's a mirror, and it holds a secret that has obsessed historians for nearly 600 years. There are two shadowy figures standing in the doorway, visible only in the reflection. And just above them, the artist wrote, Jan van Eyck was here. Not painted this, but was here, like a witness to a crime. Today, we are peeling back the layers of Arnolfini Portrait to answer the ultimate question. Is this a wedding or a funeral? To understand this image, we have to travel to 1434, to the bustling city of Bruges, the financial heart of Europe. Our subject, Giovanni Arnolfini, was an Italian merchant who made a fortune in silk. Every inch of this canvas is a strategic display of status. Those oranges on the windowsill? In the 15th century Flanders, there was staggering luxury. The heavy fur-lined robes in a room with fruit on the trees outside, it's a signal of wealth. Clothes meant for display, not for the weather. But beneath these riches lies a series of riddles that suggest this room isn't what it seems. Look at the chandelier. It is a broad daylight, yet a single candle burns on the Giovanni's side. On the woman's side, the candle is extinguished, leaving only a trace of spent wax. Even the frame of the mirror tells the story of two different worlds. The 10 tiny medallions show the life of Christ. On the man's side, the scenes show the living Christ. On the woman's side, they are all of his death and resurrection. For nearly a century, one theory ruled the art world. Erwin Panofsky argued that this wasn't just a painting, it was a legal loophole. In the 1400s, you didn't need a priest to get married, you just needed mutual consent. Panofsky claimed every object here is disguised symbolism. The single candle, that's the eye of God. The shoes on the floor, proof that they are standing on holy ground. To him, mirror is the official notary, and Van Eyck signed the wall as a legal witness. This painting was an art. It was a marriage license. But in 1997, the wedding theory took a massive hit. Archives reveal that Giovanni's wife, Constanza Trenta, actually died in childbirth in 1433. 1 full year before the date on the painting. Enter Margaret Koster. She argued that if this is a wedding, it's the grimmest one in history. She focused on the color scarlet. In 15th century Europe, a blood-red bed was a classic mourning symbol, a place where the deceased were laid out for public viewing. Look at the bedpost. That same Margaret, the patron of childbirth. Panofsky saw it as a prayer for a baby. Koster saw it as a heartbreaking epitaph. Constanza died in childbirth, and her hand is visibly slipping out of Giovanni's grasp. She isn't standing there, she is a memory. This leads us to the question everyone asks the moment they see this painting. Is she pregnant? To the modern eye, the answer seems obvious. She is clutching a massive mound of fabric against her stomach. In the 1400s, this bulge was actually the height of high fashion. It was known as the Hopelande style. Women would use front pads or simply gather yards of heavy, expensive wool at the waist to create an artificial curve. It wasn't about fertility, it was about fabric. Since Arnolfini was a cloth merchant, his wife's midsection was essentially a walking billboard for his inventory. Look at the Van Eyck's other paintings. Even his Virgin scenes and the Virgin Mary herself often have this exact same bump. It was a symbol of beauty and status, not a biological state. However, if we believe the memorial theory, a fashion statement that mimics the very thing, childbirth, that may have claimed her life. There is a third colder possibility, a marriage by proxy. Giovanni was a traveler. Often merchants married women who were hundreds of miles away, using a representative to stand in for them. Some believe the man in the mirror is the legal proxy, and the painting was sent back to Italy to prove the merger of two powerful families was complete. The dog, Panofsky says, fidelity. Koster says, a psychopomp, a guide for souls to the afterlife. The shoes, Panofsky says, sacred ground. Koster says, cast aside, because she no longer walks the earth. The window, Giovanni stands by the open window, the world of living. Here is the genius of Van Eyck. Because of mirror's position, the witnesses in the doorway are standing exactly where you are standing. By looking at this painting, you are fulfilling the contract. You are the second witness to Giovanni's life or his grief. Panofsky saw a sacrament. Koster saw a shroud. The merchant saw a contract. Van Eyck left just enough evidence for everyone to be right and everyone to be wrong. So, was it a contract of love or contract of death? Let me know in the comments which theory you believe. And remember, every painting has a story. You just have to look closer.